Hey, welcome to the worm. We keep meeting here. It's just strange. It's strange who you run into. It's freaking chilly this morning. I woke up in the tent this morning. My feet were cold, even though I was in a good warm sleeping bag. And luckily, just yesterday, I saw the temperatures were really going to plunge. So I got my buddy heater out and I put it back in the tent. I don't know, there's something wrong with it. But it only ran for like 3 or 4 or 5 minutes and then went out and I couldn't get it to relight. Propane's full. I don't know. Those things are always kind of a mystery. I mean, they're not really meant to be like for your sole source of heat all winter long for year after year. It's time to get back on this thing. We got to get this cabin closed in. I'm just trying to decide right now to do the wrap and the windows or do a bunch of the milling first. Just like happened, I don't know, the last video where I was actually working on the cabin, I was going to do just this, and then I saw a big windstorm coming. I just don't want it to get all shredded. Tomorrow's supposed to blow consistent 15, gust of 25. That's not good. And then 2 or 3 days after that, we get the same thing again for several days, so I just don't know what to do. I guess I'm just going to mill. It's so cold today. I think that's like a high of 45 or something. So that's a good day to just stand here and mill. It's the first time in, well, since last winter that I'm looking forward to putting my thick saw pants on to stay warm. I don't usually wear that kind of stuff for milling because the chainsaw is not anywhere near your legs, and it just makes it more likely that I'm going to get heat stroke than anything. But in this temperature, it's great. A couple extra layers of padding keep you from shaking and shivering too much. So yeah, let's get going on these suckers. I can get through this pile in certainly in a couple days. I bet I could get through that. And then I got this pile of small ones. You guys saw when I hauled all these up here from where I cut them down the other side of the property. I think I brought them up here a few weeks ago or so. Like I've said, with my small mill and small saw, this wood is absolutely ideal. The biggest logs here, like probably 12 inches or so, and then we got a lot that are down to like 6 or 7 on the skinny side, so it's just gonna fly through this, and it's all cedar. Also, I did mention in a previous video you saw where I test fit the windows, that little gap where I guess it's like where the OSB is supposed to go into the side of them, or the siding, I don't know. It's 3/4. I've never milled 3/4 inch boards. I don't know why. I mean, for some reason I've just made everything out here is 1 inch, but if I do the 3/4, it'll plug right into the side of the windows. If you guys haven't been watching this channel for years, it's probably worth going back to some of the very early videos, like when we built, Tito and I put this thing together. This was like a couple day build. Well, I mean, it's just a pole frame and some tarps, and then we milled lumber for the end and made the door and stuff. But just to see how far ringworm has come, because when we put this up, there was nothing out here. There wasn't a single road, trail, clear cut. I mean, it was just solid woods. Taryn was in here a couple weeks ago for party week, just looking at this place, just saying, oh my god, I can't believe this is still standing. We gave almost no thought to how it was put together. We just said, okay, we're gonna need kind of this shape to make the tarps fit, and threw it all on there. But this thing's been great. It would have been really hard the first year to not have this, because without this, without the lean-to, there's no place to store anything out of the weather. So it's really worked out great. However, as soon as I get the cabin together, I can get a bunch of stuff out of the man cave, put it in the cabin, which means it frees up space in the man cave, which is really a workshop tool room. I can get a lot of this stuff out of here. This catch-all space is just constantly full of junk. And then, I don't know if I'll put new tarps on this. They still hold most of the water out. But maybe I'll keep this thing, put new tarps on it, and just use it for storing big stuff like tarps and chairs and whatnot. You know, you're probably getting the impression that I don't plan anything out, and this is all kind of by the seat of your pants wilderness living, and you might be right. You know it's going to be a good day when you got these in your hands. Yeah, feels pretty nicely. Got quite a few little grubs under here, but usually they're just in that inner bark. Yeah, that's great. Perfect. Wow, I'm out of practice. I really screwed that one up. See that? I wasn't paying any attention. I was thinking about something else and let the side of the saw just fall off. So I have to chuck this. I'll plane this out a little bit, make it work. Alright, let's see what a 3/4 inch board looks like. Well, yeah, I mean it seems about a 1/4 inch thinner than 1 inch, which I guess it is. I think that's going to be just fine. I mean, the huge advantage is getting 25% more boards out of this pile of logs. I don't know, it sort of seems arbitrary to me how thick these are. Let's do it. Sometimes I'm not too sure what to do with a log like this. It's, let's see, it's over 11 feet long, and it's sort of straight-ish for a cedar like this, for a cedar that long anyway, but it has a hole, so this was definitely the bottom of the tree. That's what usually rots out first on these cedars. It's right in the center, and I don't have any way of knowing how far up here it goes. So if you cut it off, then you'll get all good boards going down there. If you don't cut it off, you'll get a few boards, maybe from the top and from the bottom before you get that bad spot. But it's also a little bit curved, so like the more curved it is, the more wood's wasted, and the more you cut off the end, the less of a curve or an arch you have in it. So it's just kind of this mental arborist turmoil. Do you cut it off? Do you not cut it off? How far does it go? You don't know. I don't know. I don't have that many full length like 11 and 12 foot cedars here, so I guess I'm just gonna leave it like that and mill it up, see what happens. I mean, it could be half the log that has a bad spot through the middle, but we'll still get some good boards out of either side. Did I say mental arborist turmoil? What a nerd. Oh man, I was just looking for a snack in the cooler. I forgot I had chicken to cook, so I didn't want to leave you just sitting over there all by yourself. I completely forgot about this stuff, these teriyaki noodles. I can't remember exactly which long trip I was on when I found those. I feel like it was the Appalachian Trail, although that was a long time ago. I don't know, maybe they've been making that one that long. But I was always eating those, like, the pre-made noodle packets that are like every variation of chicken flavor basically. And they're fine. I mean, you get used to just a regular old chicken flavor in every one of them. And I found this and it was like my head exploded, but I haven't eaten them for years and years. I just saw them in the store. So I grabbed some chicken thighs, cook it up in some extra oil just for the calories, chop it up real nice, and I'll make one of those today with half the chicken and one tomorrow with the rest. I just realized when I went for a snack I'm out of apples, and that is not okay. Fall in Michigan is, you can't miss out on apple season, and it's not that long. I don't know, maybe a month and a half that you can get really good apples. So I might actually have to bust out of here. Can't believe that I would put all this down, four-wheeler out of here, and then drive out who knows how long just to get apples, but good apples are very important. Used to, for most of my life, it seems like I ate chicken breasts because they're kind of the best for you, but man, once I found the chicken thighs, they're so much more flavorful, especially mixed in with stuff. God, they're great. Tell me that chicken doesn't look good. Oh, with all that nice burnt seasoning in there. Yeah. Let me dump it back in there just for a minute. Get it nice and hot, soak up some more of that grease, some more of that flavor. Oh my gosh, it looks so good. That's nothing but a ton of garlic, and I found this stuff that I've been putting on everything. Kinder's Buttery Steakhouse. Man, it's good on any kind of meat that I've found. Wow, It tastes as good as it looks. And of course it wouldn't be complete without some hot sauce. Gotta have hot sauce. I mean, it's pretty good for food out of a bag, but I could definitely use a good apple. Dang, it's pretty cold. I'm actually chilled for the first time this year. I'm chilled staying in here. Reminds me of all the other winters I've been out here. You can't even stand still long enough to eat. I like dance around, make food, and then while I'm eating it, I'm like walking in circles. Burn a lot of calories that way. Well, we got into the garbage. Got this one off the top, which I'll mill again. Get one more 3/4 inch board out of it. And we got that guy's nice. That guy's pretty nice. Just getting into the garbage barely there, so that board's good. And then we're deep into it there. And then we got a bunch of boards, what, 2 or 3 more that are in garbage. I think I'm just gonna do it. It's too bad this bad spot goes 4 feet up the log at least, but those 3 boards with garbage in it, I'll still get some 7 or 8 footers that are worth using, so we'll just mill it. As usual, I'm just gonna go at this. If I find anything weird, I'll pick the camera back up and show you. Oh baby, it's been windy as crap. Died down a little bit just now, but man, the sawdust was just blowing sideways. I just used 2 brand new chains, those Grandberg milling chains I like so much. It's crazy when they're new. I probably did 2 or 3 logs with 1 chain, and I just switched it out. And this is what I thought when I put the last one on. It mills so fast, which is all I care about, but it was pretty rough. I don't know if you can see how rough that is. So this was the dull one. I think I must have switched it out around here, and this is the new one. It's a lot rougher. For whatever reason, I think it'd be the other way around. The sharp chain would just leave a smoother finish. I don't know why that is. Doesn't matter for me. Just an interesting observation. Also, check out the difference in color of these boards. Isn't that wild? This one is particularly dark, and this one is particularly blonde. But that's gonna look pretty cool on the cabin. If I was a man of patience and restraint, I'd mill all this up and then kind of set them out, try to figure it out to do stripes on there. I'm not going to do that. The other reason I'm just thinking that it would never be worth taking the time to do something like that is, since I don't finish anything, this cedar is going to go gray pretty fast. I mean, the man cave still looks cedary, like a nice orange, but you can see it's all kind of turned to the same color. And within a couple years, this will all be gray, and all that time would be wasted. Although, you know, I did say I want to do everything really nice on this cabin. When I said that, I was kind of thinking the inside and not the outside. I don't know, maybe I will put some kind of sealer on the outside. Could probably even get away with just doing it in the spring, because all through the winter the sun's so low it just kind of filters through the trees. It won't get enough direct sunlight to even gray it, I bet. And then maybe by late spring, I don't know, sometime this spring it might be dry enough to put a coat on. Don't know, we'll just see what happens. Ooh. I think I already have enough of that cool cedar to make all my furniture in there, tables and stuff. Otherwise, it's got some really cool colors in it. Some nice orange stripes and browns and reds and stuff. I don't know, maybe I'll take a couple 3/4 inch slabs off, see what it looks like. If it's really cool, maybe I'll save one bit. I mean, the log's not really that fat. I need at least a couple slabs to make anything usable for furniture, like a table or something. Well, we'll see what we find. Yeah, I think I'm just turning it all into siding. There's some cool, depends on the light, but this is actually kind of blue, this stripe along the edge on some of these boards. I don't know, some nice stripes. It would be cool for like the edge of a shelf if you had a little lip or something, just to rip that off and use that wavy edge, but I don't think it's worth it. More siding, more siding. Well, I just saw a missed call from my mom. It's kind of early. I checked the message and turns out it's my birthday today. Didn't even think about that. But it's a good thing because then for some reason I don't feel so guilty about sleeping an extra 3 hours today. I don't know what's wrong with me. I must have been whooped from a couple days of milling. I don't know. So, I don't really want to take the time to go out and get a steak. I like to eat a big steak on my birthday. I have to think of something fun to do other than just sleeping a few extra hours. Oh, nice. I'm glad it didn't rain last night. I left a bunch of my tools out. Should probably do something fun today. I got today, tomorrow, I think the next day, and then there's a whole bunch of days of wind and rain. Like 3 or 5 days in a row of garbage. You know, doing this thing now that it's starting to get cold, it's getting towards freezing every night. I do feel some kind of urgency to get this done. I don't know why. I mean, this will be the 4th winter that I've been out here and staying in a tent the entire time. So it's not like I gotta have that place. Man, I feel like just the last few weeks when it got really cold, I'm like all of a sudden sort of feel like I'm done camping all winter long. Not done winter camping because I freaking love winter camping, but doing it full time, like waking up in the morning. Actually, you know, it's funny. I think I've mentioned this before, but I sleep great all night long. I just have the right sleeping bag for the temperature. I look, you know, each night at what the low is going to be, get the right sleeping bag. Right now I'm down to 2 sleeping bags for this weather. There's like a funny point in the year, in the spring and the fall, where it could be any one of 3 sleeping bags you need. It could be a warm night, like it could be 50. You need 1 sleeping bag. It could be 30. You got to have the warmest sleeping bag, and then of course there's in the middle. But I sleep great. As soon as I stand up, I just feel frozen. Not when I'm laying down, not when I'm sleeping. Just once I stand up, it takes me so long to warm up. And that's what I feel like I'm kind of done with, is taking like hours to wait to warm up in the morning. Well, not hours, but like an hour. I don't know, it's a weird thing. I really don't want to sleep inside a building, but I'd like to wake up, flip a switch, go back to sleep, wake up an hour later and already be warm. Anyway, I mean, the other reason I'd like to sort of get it closed in is falls are really rainy, generally overcast and cold and rainy. And it gets harder and harder as the rain comes in. It gets harder and harder to be working on that all the time. You get like, you know, in a few days from now, you get half a week that's unusable for doing this kind of stuff. So, all that said, even though it's my birthday, I kind of don't want to waste the day having fun. It's all fun, but, you know, that kind of fun. Oh, you know what I could do? I'm gonna eat some breakfast, give it a think. Maybe we'll break into that planer just for something fun to do. Still in the box, haven't even opened it. Oh, I could pull up, maybe I'll pull out one of the boards, those really nice, crazy cedar boards that I've saved up for my tables. Maybe we'll run one of those through the planer. Seems like a good birthday celebration, doesn't it? We should do that. Well, I was gonna drag the planer over and put it on the table, but that sucker's way too heavy, so I don't know if this will work. Like I said, I don't know that I've ever used one of these. I've seen them used. My dad has one, but we'll have to see how it works. I might just get one of the smaller boards, one of the prettier ones. Maybe I could just set it here and run it through there. This is how you'd spend your birthday too, right? If you were out, okay, cool. I didn't really think when I bought this of where I'm going to store this thing. Hope that's not a problem. Holy crappers. Nice. I like heavy tools. Whew, that is pretty. Oh, yeah. Assume that goes on there. Alright, anybody know how this works? I'm guessing this goes into some power or something, or do you plug this into the board? Got the raiser and lowerer. We'll figure it out. Let's see if we can find a real pretty board to run through there. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna grab a smaller, thinner one. I'd like to plane all these big ones at the same time. Those will be the tables. And then these are kind of leftovers. Maybe we should run one of those through. That's kind of cool looking. Yeah, let's stick this through there and see what happens. Those spiders love wood piles, don't they? Ooh, man, oh, that one might be even prettier. Let's try that one. Excuse me, spider face. Well, I briefly leafed through the instructions. I don't really like to read instructions generally, but I'm going to try a shorter piece. This is that somewhat pretty cedar I milled up yesterday. Some nice lines in it, and I just had scraps laying here. You can already see looking at this thing that I'm going to have to make some supports that come way out. Because if you're feeding a really long board through there and the end drops or comes up or down or whatever, it's going to screw up the wood. We'll have to figure that out. It would be pretty easy to make supports if I just did this all right on the floor in here. I don't know what this is, maybe a couple inches or something, but I could just put some blocks or something along the floor here and along the floor in the back so it would feed nicely. Let's not worry about that right now. Let's just see if we can plane this one pretty board down. Well, I've kind of hemmed myself in here. Wow, that is amazing. This is the scrap that I decided wasn't pretty enough to use for anything. Holy moly. Can you imagine what the inside of this thing is going to look like with that other wood? So it definitely is an issue not being able to support the board as it goes through there. I really want to stick that that mottled stripey one through there now. I can't imagine how cool this would look, but it's so long. I think what I might be able to do, if I slide that over one way or the other, I can probably get it feeding, and once it's right towards the middle of the board, I can go to the other side and help it feed out the back. I don't know if that's going to work, but I'm going to try it because now I just have to see what that looks like after it's planed. I also see that there's speeds. I think this is the feed speed selection. So this is for rough cut and this is for finishing. So I just had it on higher speed, rougher cut, and it still came out looking like that. So yeah, let's start it back up. I'll see if I can run by it and catch the other side of it as it comes out. Oh, that was unreasonably fun. It looks amazing, totally amazing. I didn't take it quite down far enough to get all the chainsaw marks out of it. I'll probably have to plane it again later whenever I'm going to use this. I don't even know what I'll use these thin boards for yet, but yeah, let me take it out in the sun so you can see it. So this is what all my tables and desks are going to look like in here. It is really, really gorgeous. for cedar. It's just nuts for cedar. You can still see a few chainsaw marks in the edge there. It's a little rough there, but that's already down to a little more than 3/4 of an inch. That was really fun. Now I kind of want to plane everything. I wish I put all my 2x4s through the planer so they'd be pretty inside the walls. I'm surprised at how pretty it is, like how much it changed. I mean, you know, you get a rough surface and then you smooth it out, you sand it or whatever, all that stuff comes out of it, but just for a couple passes through there on high speed, I can't believe it looks like this. And then you put varnish on it, I can't even imagine what it'll look like. What I want to do now is pull all those big fat slabs of that stuff out and run them through here. 3 days left of milling. I'll get the stuff put on here, get this thing wrapped. It won't be that long, right? You know, I'll have to put some normal cedar boards through here, like the stuff that I'm milling for the siding. I certainly won't plane the siding, but the interior boards, I don't know. I mean, if the regular cedar comes out that much prettier putting it through there, maybe I'll do all the interior boards. I'll feed it through there a couple times. Imagine what it would look like if the entire interior was planed like that and varnished. I mean, you can have too much wood and it can be overwhelming, but everything I build out here is wood. It all looks like that anyway. I might have to do that. It's going to be a while before I get to the interior, but I'll keep that in mind. I kind of need to plane just one more thing. Let's see what we can find around here. Just for no particular reason, let's put a piece of this aspen through there. Dirty aspen, see what it looks like. That's gross. Well, I owe the aspen family of trees a big apology. This is what I've been calling junk lumber. Hey, keep in mind, I never claim to know what I'm doing out here, okay? This is all just throwing stuff together with a chainsaw for fun. I'm definitely gonna put a floor over this floor because this stuff is gorgeous. I don't know how much of this will show up on the camera, but it is quite beautiful. If you get it in the right direction with the sun, that is something. I don't know how much of that reflectivity you can see, but it's actually got some pretty impressive depth to it. Look at the floor in here now. This is the same lumber. This is a scrap from the floor. Here's my aspen floor in here. And that's what it could look like. Well, that was a good experiment and I think a great tool. I don't know where the heck I'm going to store that. I still do live in a tent. Now I've got a 100-pound planer to put somewhere. I guess I'll put it back in the box for now. Can't remember if I'd mentioned this in earlier videos, but the ceiling ended up being a little bit too high. I'm really glad. I originally thought I was going to make this a steeper pitch roof and half of it was going to be a loft. Super glad I ended up not doing that because this place is already plenty big enough for what I'm going to use it for, and it's too much cubic airspace already to try to have to heat all the time in the Michigan winter. So I'm glad I brought the ceiling down a little bit, didn't have to heat the loft 24/7. Still, the way I built this, the wall goes up then at an angle then the roof, and this is just a ton of airspace that's not going to get used. So I think raising up the floor a bit is going to be a good thing. And you guys know there's just house wrap underneath this to keep the air from going through and the bugs and stuff, so I'll build up on top of that. I think I'll probably do the floor just like I did this, on top, screw it down, let it dry, let it season, and then the next year pull it all up, take the screws out, plane it, and then finish it next summer so it looks like that, but even better with varnish on it. Man, I really have come a long way as a human, haven't I? Live in a tent. The only refuge out here is a tarp with a $20 yard sale wood stove in it. And now I'm talking about varnishing floors. It's like I'm maybe losing my mind a little bit. All right, got to get back to milling. Well, it's another day. Oh, you guys look a little dusty there. You gotta keep yourself clean. I figured I'd just keep putting on the same clothes so you guys are just amazed at how much work I can get done in one day. You just get so filthy when you mill. Like all your clothes are just impregnated with this really fine sawdust. You can just keep shaking and shaking for an hour and clouds come out. By the way, I got up this morning, went to grab a jug of my dishes water. There was ice on top of it. It's happening. I think that's the first time it's actually hit 32. I don't think it was much under that. So just a thin skim floating around in there, but man, I got 2 days of good weather left, so I think I'm gonna mill today. Tomorrow I'm gonna wrap that place. Tito and I finished up Abbey Road, the Beatles, day before yesterday, and we were looking at the Rolling Stones top 500 albums of all time. I think their newest one was in 2021, the list, and number one was Marvin Gaye, which I think everybody knows a song or two of his, maybe a lot. I don't know. I wouldn't be able to put the song with his name, any song with his name, but we started on that. We're on the second day listening to that second track, and it's fantastic. Tito suggested it. I was like, kind of like, Marvin Gaye, really? And you just got to take one track a day, listen to it 3 or 4 times, do a bunch of reading on it, use good headphones. That does help a lot. I mean, you got to get the history to it too, and try to imagine what kind of music had been heard before, so what it was like to listen to that stuff for the first time. But it's great. It's a great way to start the day. Listen to a couple tunes, learn a little bit. Now I'm getting caught up on my old Car Talk episodes. Freaking love those guys. You know, it really truly is only about a 2-day project, like a 2 full day project to mill up these logs. I've gone through about 2/3 of them when I have left 7 logs there. So quite a pile I've been through. But I just have to keep telling myself, even though I'm out here living in a different way than most people, you still have the same thing. You get done with work at the end of the day and you still have a ton of stuff to do. It's just that my stuff's a little different. Like this morning, my heater and the tent that I just put in there a couple days ago is like throwing flame balls. So I had to take that thing apart again, switch it out with another one. I ran out of cream for my coffee, and that's one thing I can't do without. So I had to run out and do that. Something in my car is still squeaking, so I had to get jack stands. I got to work on that. It's just a ton of stuff. Only a few weeks before everything freezes solid. You can kind of feel the pressure. Yeah, right there. Right there. There's where the pressure is. I'm also using my chains as long as I possibly can, so I don't have to go sharpen them. You know, that's an hour and some change. Yeah, it's just kind of a lot to do in life, even if you don't have anything to do. Oh man, this is a good one. I need a whole pile of these. Alas, I have to waste part of my precious time sharpening chains. Got to think that there's some people that would rather be doing this than whatever they're doing right now. No, that's not true. You're watching a ringworm video. How stupid. You guys get big and buff carrying around your house's power supply too? It's a pretty common thing. I always throw this on the charger whenever I start the generator, even if it doesn't really need it. Well, I guess I didn't make the walls too tall, but here's another reason to use standard measurements. If you make the walls a foot too tall, then your house wrap's not big enough to go to the top plate. I'm gonna check one more time, but I think we got a problem here. Hey, somebody left the flashlight on my phone. I'm still pretty confident that the wind is just gonna rip all this house wrap off, because all I have to put it on with are staples. And I think I mentioned before, I think normally you'd have some kind of particle board, OSB, plywood, something on the outside, and then you'd have siding over it. I don't have that in between layer. My siding is the whole wall. So if the wind gets going, there's nothing to stop it. I think it's just going to catch the house wrap and rip it all off of there. So if I do it today, if I wrap it today, it'll probably get ripped off tomorrow. If I wait, I think there's going to be a bunch of wind for the rest of the season. I don't know that I'm ever going to get like an entire week to put all the siding on here without getting wind. I don't really know what to do. You guys can realize that when I make a prediction at the end of a video, I say, next week will be whatever it is. I could say the same thing for like 5 weeks in a row because I never really know. These videos aren't planned out. I think tomorrow I'm going to be wrapping the sides of this thing and I don't end up doing it for a month. That's just the way it is. But I suppose the less time this is wrapped without siding on it, the better. So what do I have? 6 logs left. I guess I'm just going to finish milling those logs. It would definitely be easier to put this stuff on when it's not windy. If I wait until a breezy day, I'm doing this all by myself. It's definitely a 2-person job to put this wrap on. Whatever, you know what? It'll work out. These are all just excuses. I really want to just be milling today. I love chainsaw milling. I'm gonna start, when I side this, I'm gonna start on the back side because there are no windows in it. So it's easier to use the longest boards. They'll, actually some of them will reach all the way across the back, like that 12 feet. And then both the sides have the one window, so you need long boards on the bottom, and then next to the window, short board, and then long boards on the top. And then of course the front, it's all broken up, a bunch of small pieces, so I'll probably do that last. I can just use the scraps and stuff for the front and these short logs if I need them. Nice thing is the Easter Bunny came last night and sharpened all my milling chains. I love that rabbit. What's up? You don't look dirty or sweaty. You guys are just sitting there all the time. Well, I think I did enough. It was funny, a few hours ago, I'm like, man, I've been sweating for like 3 hours. And I didn't even think to take my shirt off because it's cold this time of year. And I think it was like high 60s or something. So I did peel my sweaty long sleeve shirt off and I felt much better after that. Got that one big log just finished up. I'm gonna leave one big one here just in case I need a different size for something. That's, yeah, I think that's a 12-footer. And then of course we got that small pile over there. Alright, so this is what I got saved up for longer ones. 10 to 12 footers. It's a pretty good stash. And then these are, I don't know, 6 to 9 feet or something. That's quite a nice collection if you ask me. It was kind of a lot of work, but I listened to a ton of podcasts and I think I finished 3 books. So that's a good time. I'm not going to guess what's going to happen in next week's video because I'll just keep saying the same thing. It'll be wrapping this place, putting the windows in, and starting on the siding. There's kind of nothing else to do but that. But, you know, my track record the last 3, 4, 12 weeks has not been very good. Oh, yeah, duh. There is something else to do. I have to rip all those down, all the boards I just made. You guys have seen a ton of that since the very beginning of ringworm videos, but it's going to be snapping chalk lines on the edges of these. And, you know, I used to do it with the chainsaw, and then I got that new circular saw. And with this much of it to do, I'm just going to go ahead and circular saw all of it. I'm actually thinking, I have a little battery-powered router too, Ryobi router. And I'm thinking after I rip these, I might route the edges. Let me show you what I have in mind here. I've been using the same stuff, this like roof tarry stuff, since the very beginning. When I built the deer castle, I used it just because it was the cheapest caulk I could get my hands on, and that was just like a deer blind. And, you know, whatever. It was black, it looked kind of cool on there too, so I slathered it on there. Then of course the boards dried and I had to do it again, but I mean that's kind of expected. The amount that these boards will all shrink in the next year is huge. There's nothing you could really caulk it with without having to redo it. I mean, a normal person would just let the boards dry first, let them season, but I don't know, what do you think? You guys want to just wait for a year? We could just shut down the channel altogether and, you know, I can stack and sticker all these and we can pick it up in a year. It's your choice. I mean, you think about it, you let me know. Anybody that watched this thing being built I guess this was last year, I did every side differently. Wow, that angle looks pretty sweet, doesn't it? This is board and batten. This is my own invention. The diagonal board and batten. I still haven't had a single leak in this place. And then this is just my horizontal boards, and this is how I'm going to do the whole cabin. And what I've done before is, after these boards are on here, I'll just take a utility knife and cut the edges off just so the caulk lays in there a little better. But I'm actually thinking it might be kind of cool just to route them, because this place I want a little more water bug resistant. I mean, it's going to have the wrap on it, so it should be water resistant, but you know, I'll probably end up doing this 3 times, like caulking it. I'll caulk it right when I'm done with it. Probably have to do it again next summer, and then I don't know, maybe the year after or something. But yeah, you guys know I'm always looking for something different to do just to keep me entertained, so maybe I will route them all as I put them on there. But here I am again making predictions about what I'm gonna do. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna stay out here and keep screwing around. You know, maybe do a little camping, probably eat some greasy food, a lot of butter, and you know, if history is any indication, it'll all just work out fine and I'll stay entertained. I think I did decide in my little brain that I'm gonna try setting aside the really pretty boards, and if I've got more than enough already milled up, which I don't know, then I'll have the pretty ones left over for the inside, in which case I'll plane them all. And I think if I have enough cool ones to plane all of them, I think I'm gonna varnish the whole inside, just because it would look crazy in there if it was mirror polished gorgeous lumber. We'll see. Hey, you know what, thanks for watching The Worm, and see you next week. We'll do something. Bye. Hey, one more thing before we go. I've got a handful of you that are overdue to get carved in the picnic table. However, since I got that planer, my thinking is I'm going to take this table apart, plane it completely down, and put all the names back in here, and then varnish over top of them. So all the people that support me on Patreon at $5 a month or more get their name carved in there, and it'll actually get sealed in. Because some of these names are on the edge, all the varnish is gone and they get kind of hard to read, and I want you guys to be able to see your names in the videos. So Don P, Ryan C, Llama and Alpaca, Andrew H, and Mike M, I know you guys have all been donating for at least a few months. I haven't forgot about you. God, I love you. So either I'm gonna have to wait for this to dry out, and then I can carve your names in it, put the charcoal in it so you can see it. Actually, I don't really use this table in the winter because it's always covered in a foot of snow and ice. So maybe when I get the cabin all closed in and usable, I could take all these off, put them in the cabin, or put them in the man cave for a couple months, let them dry out a little bit, and then I could actually refinish them over the winter and carve them. I'm going to do that. So I appreciate y'all. I'll try to figure out a way not to get too far behind, because I want to be good to my word. I want you guys to be able to see your names. It's just kind of a weird time right now to put them in there. Okay, enough of that. Thanks so much.